Needs a lot more of that. Yeah. Thanks for clicking the video today. I'm with Lee Detrick in Duarte. How's it going?
How you doing? Nice to be here.
Lee is a guy that I've had on the channel for a long while, and I've known for a while, and he's one of the best golf instructors when it comes to putting everything together, because Lee has really seen it all in almost 40 years of golf instruction and playing. So Lee, one of the things that you saw is you saw me using the gem on my channel, and then one of your students brought you one and said, hey, what do you think about it? Give me your expert opinion on this.
The gentleman that brought it to me was Bob Williams, who's a Pasadena club fitter.
Yeah.
And he had a lady named Lori Merton who won the U.S. Open, and she had sent this to his daughter. Oh, okay. And they were playing with it, and in the fact that she really liked the trainer. And then he brought it over to me and had me do it, and then this was probably a month after I saw you working with it. Okay. In that one video you had on. And you had the sense that you were trying to get the wobble out of what was going here. Yeah. And in order to get that, you had to feel like you brought this thing in, the ball in toward your crotch a little bit. Yeah, to recap that, I felt, because it was always wobbling. And to recap that, I felt like here, and I felt like if this was a curved thing, I'm taking it and I'm kind of casting it and rolling, like basically doing this motion here. Felt like that's going into my leg as I'm coming down. And when I did that, it was a stable release. And I didn't really understand why, but that was my only feeling, is that if I shut it and cast it at the top a little bit as I'm swinging into the left arm, that kind of stabilized things. So. Yeah. Go back up to the top. What's your idea about why this happens? I'm gonna try to give you what my take is on why this works. Okay. Go back up top. Okay. When you got here, you had two guys that almost said the same thing. One was John Sinclair, and John Sinclair said that the tour pros in this going from P4 to P5, they're almost all gonna uncock. They're gonna ulnar deviate or uncock the left wrist. Which, if gone far enough, squares the face. Yeah, they work like, his big thing that he'll say is Shane Lowry's like this and he goes that way. John Rahm's like this and he goes that way, but everybody's going back that way. So go back up top there. So what happens whenever you do this uncocking, so John Sinclair did it like this. The unclocking part I got from one of your videos from Monty Seinboom. Yeah. Down to here, well, now I get down to here, put your other hand on. Now, because the face is closed, you're not like this. Yeah. When you get this ball on this side, that's when you get the wobble. Okay. When you come down with when you start with an open face and you have to shut it late, shut it down, below, down in this area. Whereas if you shut it early, now swing through. Yeah. Now you don't have the wobble nearly as much as what you had it before, if at all. Shut it or square it early. Yeah. So I'm going to try that a couple times. Feel different? Yeah, it does. A big term in golf before was like educated hands. Yeah. And like you could get all the body motions correct, but if the hands don't know like kind of what to do, it's all for nothing. Yeah, there definitely has to be a little bit that, and then and then you do it's funny, that and close it with your body. There's I never noticed this before, but whenever Scotty Scheffler, they had him on making practice swings. Yeah. Yeah, he kind of has a little bit of a toss here, like Monty does. In his practice swings? No, well, when he makes his transition ball like this. Okay, that's what I feel. I think the extreme of this would be Scott Piercy. Goes like this. Have you ever seen this one? Yeah, he goes like this. I don't recognize him. Yeah, it's the same deal, but I know that with today's players, they have less rate of closure at the bottom because they're squaring it earlier in transition. You had said some of these ideas years ago, and there's something that you made. Okay. This I'm not sure the date. This was probably after I started teaching, so I'm guessing it's in the 80s. And this, what I want to tell you, will guarantee that. I had an aluminum shaft one day in my hand, and I went like this and put it over my knee. Out of anger or just out of curiosity? I was just okay. And I was not anger. But what happened was, when I swung it, it turned. I'm holding this really loose, and it rotated because this was up
went up on an angle. Now, so then I went back and looked at stuff, and we had a Matzy swinger that was really heavy.
Yeah.
Okay. And I had a friend, Sam Osborne, who was pretty handy with tools. He came back a week later and showed me this. He put a grip on the end of a 1/2-inch piece of pipe, and he put a little bit lighter weight on the end of it.
Yeah.
So that was, we called it the Pro Release, because that let me feel that release down through the bottom. Well, fast forward 30 years,
Yeah.
and I don't want to feel as much rotation in my hands down there.
Yeah.
And I took it out. I got about 6 of these in a box in the garage, and that's all that's left. And I just turned it over.
Yeah.
And now when I swing back, the face feels more square to the arc. It's just a little, I mean, it's crazy.
And similar, like people asked me about the gem and things like that, and it's similar to this, is for me, the gem feels like a takeaway tool.
Yeah,
about
you talked
80%.
about that being a takeaway tool. I have never thought about it that way.
This feels like, because normally I'll be tucked under and bent right arm, and this feels so natural to just go like this. And that's the thing that I like about, especially the heavier bar on the gem, where you can go, if I just keep this down and react to the weight of it. Yeah.
Have you ever done the gem with that ball sticking up in the air?
No, never. We can try.
Now make your takeaway with the gem. Does it feel the same?
It feels really unstable. So it feels like, yeah, it feels like it's different. Before, that's almost kind of helping you and you kind of guide with it.
Yeah.
And this is like, hey, if you do something wrong, it punishes you. So more of, so,
well,
but
that may
but
not
it's a
be
similar,
the way we want to use the gem.
No, it's a similar feeling. I wouldn't use it for the downswing, but I really like it for this part, because you just never would.
Well, that's what
do
I mean.
that.
I'm just saying, just for your takeaway.
Yeah, right here. I mean, Mike can see how much wider and on plane that is, and that's just easy. I could close my eyes and do this 1,000 times, and it's going to be right there every time.
So there may be another use for the gem.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, definitely. I like that.
There's a golf professional in Tennessee, I believe, named VJ Trolio, and he's
he's
guy,
in Mississippi at Old Waverly.
Okay.
Yeah.
He designed the putting arc.
Yeah.
Well, then he went back in and he had a video and a book called Hogan's Final Missing Piece.
Okay.
And it really dealt with the pivot, in that what Hogan did was he moved about an inch this way, and then he recentered, which is kind of what we've done with Dr. Quad and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We're going to move a little bit recentered, so that way he could rotate as much as he wanted to.
Yeah.
Well, then he came out with another one with
this is really interesting.
An additional book, what somebody did. And this goes back to what we did with the gym.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't. This is not
work at the top.
done the way it was, but we'll have to go with this. I took this hula hoop. I got my golf grip on it here, and I would teach this in the past with somebody just like that to get them to feel, because of the weight of the hoop, you can't go over.
Yeah, like staying on plane that way.
You have to come underneath and be on plane.
Yeah.
Well, what happened? What this guy had in this.
But when you do this, like kind of go towards the bottom, just doing that only.
See, the face is wide open.
That'd be wide open, yeah.
And what they did is they put a ping pong paddle on the end.
Okay.
Okay, so what they said you had to do is this. You go up, and if I do what we did with the gem, John Sinclair and Monty, this wrist is going to uncock and roll, and what happens is the hoop goes over my head and brings me back into square.
Now, see that angle right here, Mike, as he's like that. Now you're open with the body and the face is square. That's cool. I'm gonna try that. So just take it up and just do it the wrong way at first.
There's holding the face up, and you can't get that thing out of the way.
No. So, but if I go here and...
Then you come back to square. I mean, I would just let it come back to square. You're bringing that back to square.
I gotta do it earlier.
There you go. And see, what I would say to you, go back to...
And then look how much your elbow really stays in. What were we saying, Lee?
This wrist can be bent or flattish. I prefer flat. Some people like to be slightly bent. But when you radial deviate this, I'm talking about ulnar deviate it, which is basically uncocking the wrist.
Like a casting kind of feel?
Kind of feel, but it's not casting because you're moving everything down. This is opening. to there, and if you go down to where this is slightly arched, that face will be closed. The face will be back to square.
Square to the square to the plane.
Square to the arc.
Square to the arc. Okay.
Coming through like this, and we're going this way.
Okay, so I need to go here.
Which is everything you've done in your on your site. And the other thing is you've got this wrist uncocking and going to arched. The right wrist, which is the key, is still bent. So when you come back into here, that's your impact. That's what we did at the first school down at the Grand in that one little video I did with you.
You with the gutter?
Yeah. Oh, and this came from something that I learned from Mac O'Grady years and years ago. I want to feel like this forearm points out there to the gutter as it's coming down. So as you're up here, go back up. Now get that forearm down to so it's pointing at that yellow or red stake. Keep going. You see now you're underhanded.
Oh yeah.
And now you're coming through. So when you get to here, when I get right to here, if I can take this club, this is pointing toward that. You could use the target line, but in actuality, it's inside the target line. From here, I want that forearm to point back there as quick as possible so I can get the club down this way. So
just try that again, Lee.
Go.
I got it. Here.
Now throw it. There. That's there. You see, now you're right into there.
That needs a lot more than that. Yeah, that's cool.
I mean, but the gem does the same.
If you don't want it to wobble, that's the move you have to make.
I think that's my opinion.
All right, so we're gonna try the classic gem thing here. I have this on my 3-iron, which is not that great.
You want that's the 6.
Yeah, I'll use this one. So just do this a couple times, and more than anything else though, like when people do, it's like, well, how do I get it not to wobble? More than anything is you just want to ask yourself, like athletically figure it out, you know, and you'll start to see some of these same things.
But you did it by taking the ball in toward the inside of your left thigh.
Yeah, because what happened was I was swinging this in the back patio, and my wife said, "Aren't you going to hit yourself with that?" And I said, "No, I'll be all right." And I wasn't having a lot of success with it, and because you know I'm a husband, I want to do the opposite of my wife says. So Will here's like, you know what? I am going to hit myself with this thing. And when I did this,
it didn't wobble, and it really came through nice.
Okay, 4, 5, 6. It wobbled. 7.
Feel different?
Yes. All right, so that's what they say to do. Do 10 of these and then hit a shot. You've got the Kung Fu grip. Can you see if you can get that off?
Feel different?
Yeah, it does. It feels so much more open and then through this way. Okay. First shot of the day.
That's pretty
good.
Nice push draw.
Yeah. Really good. If I do those two things together, kind of the hands of the gym with some of the stuff that Dr. Scott and Dr. Kwan talk about,
you got a
good combo.
You got a winner. That's a combination you want.
I like that one better. That was really good.
Well, good.
So if you guys are interested in the gym, there's a discount if you use the promo code in the description to this video, and there's a special link for it. It really helps you out there. Something really exciting that Lee and I have going on is we're going to be doing a golf school on April 3rd and 4th at the Grand in San Diego. It's a beautiful private club with a facility designed by Phil Mickelson, a short game facility and a range. And Dr. Scott LYNN, the world's foremost expert in ground forces and how the golfers are using the ground, he's going to have his swing catalyst plate there, and Lee will be there, Ed LASATER will be there, I'll be there, and a very small group of golfers. So go to bebettergolf.net/school to see information about that, and thanks for watching. Bye. Really exciting announcement that I was talking to Dr. Scott, and we are going to be doing a Be Better Golf School at the Grand Golf Club in San Diego on April 3rd and 4th. Dr. Scott is going to be there with his Swing Catalyst dual force plate, the same one that he just used in the last month with Colin Morikawa and Tony Finau and other PGA Tour players. He's going to have that down there with his Foresight machine, and the great coach Lee Detrick will also be there for a Be Better Golf School.
It's going to be a very small school. There's only going to be about 6 or 7 students there for 2 days, really getting deep into the forces that you can create to make your most powerful and consistent golf swing. It's really something that you can't just figure out on your own, because you can't really ever guess it. You have to be able to see what's going on under the hood of your swing, and the best way to do that is using the Swing Catalyst plate and also the expertise of Dr. Scott, the #1 ground reaction force scientist in golf. So really exciting opportunity. Go to bebettergolf.net/school or send me an email with any questions to contactbebettergolf@gmail.com. Lots of new videos coming out with Scott, Lee, and Mike Malaska, and Blake Cannon, and a bunch of other things coming up on Be Better Golf that you're going to want to see. So click the subscribe button. Thanks. Bye.